We don't always have access to all the information. So we take the information we do have and try to make a story out of it. And if it's a good story, we believe it. Here's an example. Sally was crying at work today. Then I saw her boyfriend, John, at dinner with another girl. I take this information, and maybe the story I make is, John broke up with Sally for this other girl. Or maybe even, John was cheating on Sally with this other girl, and today she found out about it. It makes sense with what I know, so I believe it. Let's say the next day I talk to John, and he says he had a great dinner with his sister yesterday. He hadn't seen her in years. Now I have new information, so I need to adjust my story. Now I must believe John went to dinner with his sister yesterday, and Sally was crying about something unrelated. Maybe she was just having a bad day. And I must also change my opinion of John. Before I might have thought he was a douchebag, and it would be unfair of me to continue to think that. So we take the information available to us and make a story out of it. The less information we have, the easier it is to make a cohesive story. Try it yourself. Take 3 random ideas and try to piece them into a story. Now take 10 random ideas and try to piece them into a story. In our example, the first set of information explained everyone's behavior, but with the new information, I'm left wondering why Sally was crying. The first might be a more cohesive story, but it would be wrong of me to continue believing it now that I know John had dinner with his sister. So if I wish to find out why Sally was crying, I have to seek out more information. Maybe I could ask her. This is where we run into the problem with religion. Or one of them anyway. Let's turn that story we tell ourselves into a puzzle. I want to build a complete puzzle where I use all the pieces I have and they fit together properly. Like before, it's easy to do with only 3 pieces. This is religion, a very simple puzzle. I feel good about completing my puzzle, so now I can... Oh wait, there's another puzzle piece, but it doesn't fit into my puzzle. It must be a fake. This is the mindset of religion. Everything I believe already has an answer. God did it. It's a very convenient catch-all answer. And everything I don't believe isn't true. Perhaps it's fake, perhaps it's a trap laid by Satan, or perhaps after a few hundred years, religion will be forced to accept it and then say God did that too, and actually somehow it does fit into what we believe. Every new piece of information you find fits into the narrative you've always believed, or you ignore it. Religion is keeping your puzzle as simple as possible, assuming it's complete, while neglecting the fact that there are puzzle pieces that don't fit. Science, however, is just the opposite. Science suspects from the outset that the puzzle is incomplete, and constantly seeks out new puzzle pieces to add. Sometimes you find a whole bunch of them, and it takes decades to figure out where they go. Sometimes you put the pieces together incorrectly, but then you realize this, admit your mistake, and redo them. Sometimes there's a piece missing, and you know right where it goes, but it takes you years to find it. This confirmation bias and closed-mindedness that I've been describing isn't religion's only problem, nor is it only attributable to religion, but it is a necessary feature for a religious mind. What they call faith, I would call willful ignorance, which is derived from confirmation bias. People have a very strong resistance to critically analyzing the things they believe, because if you do, and you find that you've built your life upon a lie, then how many other lies will you find? People would rather have lies and stability than truth and instability, even if that instability is only temporary. Back to John and Sally. This unwillingness to re-examine what you believe when you find something that contradicts it is like knowing that John went out to dinner with his sister, but still believing he's a douchebag, because that's the story you've committed to. John must be a douchebag because I know he is. Or believing that God has a master plan for the universe, but free will also exists. Or that you should love all of God's creations, but not Muslims, gay people, or animals. Many religious ideas are logically inconsistent with one another, but due to the nature of those very rigid and very simple puzzles, you cannot change what you already believe. There is no room for doubt. Once you let in doubt, you begin to destroy the framework of confirmation bias. Hopefully you can see that this isn't the right mindset to have. A better alternative is open-mindedness, willingness to doubt what you believe, willingness to accept answers that contradict your worldview, provided, of course, that there is evidence for those answers.